All right, everybody, it looks like the takedown has finally started to happen. It looks like Mueller's going after Trump's inner circle and that the Trump impeachment is well underway. The problem with that line of thinking is it's false. And the reason why it's false is because Mueller, a Democrat-appointed investigator, the man who appointed James Comey when he left as FBI director in his stead, the same man who is doing this gigantic investigation, all reaching in every area, is working with Trump to out a conspiracy on the global scale never before seen in history. I know it seems far-fetched and unbelievable, but it's true, and I'll walk you through it here in a second. And you're hearing it right here for the first time. I think people are starting to put this together on both sides and realize this investigation is spanning into more people than it was supposed to. But right now there's a lot of really focused things happening. Flynn just flipped. He didn't really do anything wrong. He lied to FBI agents. Whether or not that's true, he's probably not going to serve much time. But he could be used as a witness and protected if he was arrested and in custody, which I think is probably what's happening. Paul Manafort, it talks about it in here, and Rick Gates were indicted. It started to span out, and then it got this Papadopoulos guy, and then it started to grow into a Podesta examination. Now, this should have never happened because Podesta is a Democrat fundraiser, and his brother ran Hillary Clinton's campaign, and he was chief of staff of Bill Clinton. So John Podesta and Tony Podesta are very well plugged in Democrat operatives. I guess that's the word for it. So how a Democrat-appointed special counselor, but he's investigating Trump, and now all these people from the Democrat side start getting ensnared. This is how it morphed from Manafort, Rick Gates, and Papadopoulos into Podesta. Now, the Flynn case looks like it's going to be pushed at Kushner. So I'm going to show you a website here in a second. I don't recommend you go here. It's I'll just say trigger warning, all right? If you can't deal with harsh language and racist memes, you shouldn't be going to this next place I'm going to show you. But this is where a bunch of this stuff is popping up. It's a 4chan, the poll board. It's extremely racist, but there's a lot of stuff that gets dropped in here that shows up in news later. And a lot of people are in this room are connecting the dots. So if you can get past the harsh language and the trolling, this is troll ground zero. If you can get past that, you can find a lot of interesting things in here. So it looks like somehow Flynn is connected to Kushner now, who is connected to Netanyahu. And supposedly Kushner lobbied Russia to support Israel in some kind of UN resolution. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that'll be interesting. So there's all these sealed indictments, and there's this other connection. So Flynn, he was only in the cabinet for like 2 weeks, and he got dropped. And he got dropped for doing some crazy stuff. He mentioned this stuff called Pizzagate. And, you know, as you can see, the BBC has already debunked it. You know, it's not true, so you don't need to go look at it. None of this exists. But in this is inserted this John Podesta guy who I talked about earlier. And this other guy named James Alefantis shows up. And no one knows who this guy is. He owns a pizza restaurant in Washington, but he was listed in like Forbes' most powerful people in Washington, the top 50 people. He's like number 48 or something. It's incredible. And I'm like, why would a pizza restaurant guy be on a... It just doesn't make... I mean, in Washington, a pizza dude that I've never heard of. Okay. So I guess he dated this dude named David Brock. You know, you can go look him up. He does stuff. But this whole thing popped up, and then Flynn tweeted some stuff, and the BBC said, look, this isn't true, right? And they debunked it. But I don't know much about this, but some of the stuff that people were bringing up doesn't seem to have ever gotten debunked. So I've gone and tried to look at news stories, see if anything would pop up. And this thing, Elsa Gate, I guess I've never seen this before. That's new for me. Maybe that's what the Elsa videos on YouTube. That'd be interesting for you to go look up if you haven't ever seen that. You go 3 levels deep into YouTube on Elsa and you get these like nightmare cartoons. Weird. Anyway, these are the images for the Pizzagate search I did. And I'm like, okay, this all looks crackpot, tinfoil, crazy stuff. I don't know what that means. What is that? pizza with some logo on it. So I looked at this because I was like, all right, that's top level, and holy crap. So it looks like someone has gone through an awful lot of work to do. What the heck is this? Oh my God. Ew. They walked into a bedroom at the Podesta residence hung with multiple color pictures by Katie Grannon, a photographer known for documentary-style pictures of naked teenagers. Huh. That's interesting. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I just kind of like, I never really looked at this like this, but I remember this guy, he molested some kids. That's weird. Learns he was caught. I have to stay in touch with Denny Hastert. That's Podesta talking. Ew. Here's something that I ran into about this guy that Flynn was connected to, was investigating, and it's this Saudi guy. This dude. Gulen from Turkey. So I guess he's involved somehow. And then I went and saw this. Now Roseanne Barr, I'm not really a fan of her, right? That's where I found this, but she's talking about how Mueller could have got Flynn on this other stuff, but he didn't. And it's all because if K Street goes down, Mueller's longtime advisor Tony Podesta does too. He would be ending all of his thing. But Tony Podesta is going down on this other sealed indictment. So I don't know. This Cernovich, I mean, I don't know. I've seen this guy before, but I don't know if he's trustworthy or not. So here's some interesting stuff. Listen to this.
And you have to ask yourself, why would the FBI have paid Steele if he was already compiling this for the Democrats? And I think one reason that they may have, if they used it for the FISA, is they wanted to provide the FISA court with a cloak of respectability for the information.
And Judge, in support of that theory, think about what Comey did on January 6, 2017, when they went to the Trump Tower and met with President-elect Trump, briefed him on an intelligence situation, and then everyone leaves the room and Mr. Comey talks to him about the dossier. That gave the dossier legitimacy as well, because remember, all the press had this document. No one would print it because this is National Enquirer baloney. No.
I think it's a setup. I think it's a reverse setup. This talks about this guy getting indicted in a sealed indictment, and then this is crazy too. Listen to this.
In turn of events, 3 key Democrats have been indicted, yet there's a total mainstream media blackout. Arrests records confirm the founder of the Podesta Group, brother of John Podesta, and a major player in the Pizzagate scandal, was arrested last night. Just days ago, Tony Podesta stepped down from the Podesta Group after probing conducted under the authority of Special Counsel Robert Mueller led to an investigation by the Justice Department.
You heard that. So Mueller's investigation went out in every direction, and all these other people got ensnared because they were uncovered. So some little bit of something got uncovered when Mueller started asking around. He popped up a little bit of evidence, and he handed it to the Justice Department, who started prosecuting. Now, this is weird because if you've been paying attention, everybody has been screaming Sessions. So Jeff Sessions... People on the left have been screaming about Jeff Sessions. They want him gone. People on the right in the Republican Party stuff, like, they want Jeff Sessions gone because they're like, prosecute, 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 and he's not doing anything. And now it turns out they're prosecuting the heck out of these people. Major players. Like, these are big people. And these two people are one phone call away from her, from Clinton. And if you go look, people say that she's got 31 sealed indictments opened up against her right now, ready to go. So, and this all comes out of the Mueller investigation, who spawned off the Justice Department investigations and individualities of these things. This is interesting to look at. Twitter's crazy. You can come look in this. This is these trip codes they talk about in 4chan. If you follow this guy called QAnon. Let me find it. Jay-Z canceling tour dates. Wasn't he putting on concerts for the Democrats during the election? Okay, so this is it. We'll look at this. Okay, so sealed up to date. There's 4,289 sealed indictments in the U.S. in the last month. Okay, in the month of November, 4,200 sealed indictments. So it's normal to have about 1,000 per year. And there's almost 4,300 in a month. And now we're starting to get indictments on Podestas and all sorts of other stuff. Crazy, right? We'll see what happens here. I found this interesting. This Roseanne, she seems to be kind of up on stuff. So maybe she's a good person to follow. I also think that Kathy Griffith, I saw some tweet from Kathy Griffith the other day. Where's it at? There it is right here. So I guess they got a backstory, Jake Tapper and Kathy Griffin. But at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Kathy Griffin headless Trump fiasco was totally staged, and it was staged by people close to Trump at that point. I mean, at this point, I would not believe that. That's believable to me now. You're going to see this in the next month, and I think it's going to happen before the Christmas break, and it's going to be plastered on TV during the holidays when everyone's with their families. And people are going to have to address this. And people are going to have time on their hands to look on the internet, and all this stuff is going to be here. You're going to run right into this. This is going to hit you right in the face. So you heard it from me, man. I hope this helps. There's some stuff to follow if you want to follow some things. There's this guy. He is a White House insider called QAnon. He's posting on 4chan on the poll board right now. Everything is getting tagged with this, and if you follow this guy, you can get to these other things. This is really big. There's a bunch of content under this hashtag, and I haven't seen it trend yet, which is weird because there's so much stuff. Like, this is really a primary search term right now for this. And the latest, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 8 minutes ago, 9 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, there's a lot of content here, and it's all legit. It looks like these are all links to stuff. So I think this is a pretty good hashtag to follow if you want to follow the story before it happens on TV. Anyway, I hope this helps.